Hey guys, this is Stu from Stuart Scale Models, and rather than call it the channel update, what I've decided to call it is Stu's Back at the Bench. So this is going to be my Stu's Back at the Bench for July, August. Reason I've done that is because I was, well, just thought make it a bit of a difference and boring old channel update, you know. What with John doing his bum each week. In case you don't know what that is, that's Bench Update Monday, and he's just recently finished a fantastic looking diorama, which was his entry into Joe's T34 group build. I was mightily impressed with the amount of work he's actually thrown into that, and he did it over the course of about 2 or 3 weeks. Now, normally with me, it takes about 2 or 3 months. Well, I suppose that's the benefit of being retired, but whether I think John is retired, yeah, John is retired. You get more time at home and you get more time on the bench, which I must admit I have really enjoyed for the past week, with only 1 more week of my holiday to go. So, yeah, I've certainly been making up for lost time, I can tell you. Anyway, I managed to get a couple of builds completed over the last month and a half. First one being my entry into the Pricks of Plastic Leopard group build, which was hosted by Sebastian Chu from Dutch Modelling, and out of my entry was the old venerable Tamiya Gepard, which was the anti-aircraft version of the Leopard 1 A5. For its time, I mean, admittedly the kit is, what, 30 plus years old, and since then Takom have brought out a more upgraded kit, but to be honest with you, I think I prefer this one because the build is more simplistic, and like to me as usual standard, it just basically falls together. The level of detail for an old kit on it is pretty good. Admittedly, I suppose Takom is a bit more sort of in depth on the build in terms of its engineering, but as regards this, I mean, obviously you've got the radar here, array on the front which moves up and down, the guns move up and down, you can move back the turret lid which you got here. If I can get it to go up, is it going to do it? Play ball, yeah. And obviously you've got the back compartment here with all the detail, the internal workings of the computer for the actual search radar and tracking radar, as it were. Again, the build itself was very good. It just basically threw together. The weathering techniques I learnt a lot from. Only did a sort of a mental note from when I was at Tank Fest, because I had a quick close look up some of the old Leopard 2s and Leopard 1s they had there. So thought I'd try and reproduce that as best I could, and yeah, it came up really well. Figure wasn't too bad either, although its sculpt isn't that brilliant. So I thought I'd place him on the top there just to give a sense of scale, really. Rather than have him stuck inside the actual turret where you don't actually see anything of him. But yeah, very pleased with the end result, and yeah, that's sitting up there with the rest of my past builds now. And I'm thinking of getting the Leopard 1A5 possibly. Might get Mengs, I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, very happy with that one. And then obviously the second build I managed to get finished, which was my intermediate build. Of the old Revell AT ACT from Rogue One, and I decided to do a vignette for that to try and practice my diorama skills. And again, very happy with the end result of that. I'll just move the camera back so you can get a full sort of angle of it all. Again, if you want to have a look more in depth, sort of look at it, have a look at my final reveal for that one. Again with this, the build itself was very simplistic because it's only a normally sort of snap together sort of toy, really. And obviously I've got the sound effects inside which light up the cockpit, as you can see there. Can't resist doing that, I have to do that. And I just basically tried to reproduce the scene where the Rebel forces send in the AT-ACT's NatAts to repel the rebellion forces who are trying to get their hands on the plans to the Death Star. And if you haven't seen the film, by all means do. And if you haven't, then where have you been? If you've been hiding under a bush, But it is a stupendous film. In fact, I might sit and watch it tonight. So yeah, it's just basically I used trees which I actually got off eBay. They were a little plasticky looking, but I dulled them down with a bit of Testors Dull Coat to give it a bit more sense of realism. You've seen it with little flock here and some green sleeves, little tufts there, just to give it that sort of forest floor look, as it were. And then use Woodland Scenics medium, what do they call it? Hang on, let me go here. Medium ballast, buff ballast. Yeah, did have some fun and games with that, but the tail end result has come out really well. In fact, Mike Cohen was very kind enough to actually feature it on his one of his recent videos. So thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting it. I was really taken by surprise. So thank you, buddy. Him being a big Star Wars fan like myself, he's actually built the Bandai AT-AT, which I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. So yeah, might well do that nearer Christmas time, we'll see. But yeah, again, very happy with the end result, and judging by your responses, you are extremely all pleased with it, and I'm very humbled by what I've been told. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So there you go. So that's my 2 completed builds. As in terms of current builds, well, my entry into the Warren Blanche Tribute Buddy build I've had to put on hold for the time being, because I'm really set my heart on getting involved in Adam Mann's and Evan Panzermeister's 36's 75th anniversary Tiger One group build, and for that one I chose the initial 6600 Leningrad initial Tiger 1. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, I'll try and find the box lid. Have I got it down here? Where did I put the lid? Oh, here we go. This is the one that I'm having as my entry. Now I'm going to do a little vignette, winter vignette, with obviously the tank going forward, and then obviously I've got some troopers behind. Yeah, for that I used the Master Box Cold Wind set, which I thought would be more appropriate, because obviously it looks as though they're in the midst of winter. If you're walking through a blizzard or a cold wind, as it were. And to be honest with you, the way these figures have come out is just, oh, they're beautiful. They really are beautiful. In fact, I've got all my figures, including the Minicraft set, which is the Tank Crew Winter set. Well, I've used 2 of the figures, but I'll run through that with you now. As you can see here, these are the figures. This is the Cold Wind set. Again, these Master Box figures are absolutely gorgeous with the detail, and then obviously got the 2 tank crew here, the commander and the loader, which are going to be on the Tiger, just to give it a more sense of scale. But I'll pick out one of the figures, and you can have a look at the Master Box one. This one here with the infantryman who's carrying a weapons set. Again, the sculpt on the face itself is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that. Hang on, let's get the light down a bit lower. There you go. The sculpt on the face is just fantastic, and the amount of detail. I mean, the way they've caught where his tunic's been blown up by the north wind, and the creases in the fabric, etc. And he just looks as though he's keeping his head down, trying to stop being blinded from the wind or the snow, you know. And it's, oh, they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They went together very well. Admittedly, I've had to fill them in here a little bit, but there's not all that many gaps, to be honest with you, so I can't really complain. Here's another one from the set. This guy here holding the ammunition. Again, beautifully sculpted, even the face. Beautiful detail. So I'm really looking forward to painting these, really. So they're all ready to be primed. And then obviously you've got the crew set. This is the loader. As you can see here, again, not bad detail. The only thing I would say with the Minicraft ones, they aren't as easy to assemble, and the fit on them isn't as good. I mean, if you notice here, I've had to put some of the old green filler on there just to basically fill the gap, because I actually had to reposition his arm to fit the actual vehicle, as it were. And it left a dirty great gap, so I've managed to put some Squadron filler over that and sand it down a little bit. But again, the level of detail on his tunic, his winter tunic, is beautiful with the creases of the material. Sculpt on the face isn't as highly detailed as the Master Box, but it's not bad. And then obviously you've got the Tank Commander, which I've got here. Now, I added a little bit of detail here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually got the wires coming down from his headset. I used 5 amp fuse wire on that, which is what I used on the my M Group build entry for the Sherman. I was trying to use it so it was being, all the storage was tied down, as it were. So I've used that again just to add a little bit more detail, really, and give it a little bit more authenticity. I must admit the sculpt on the face is a little bit better. So yeah, again, that should look really nice once it's actually painted, etc. So that's the figures. The actual vehicle itself, well, I've got the running gear all assembled, as you can see here, and all ready for priming. So that's all that done. One thing I will point out, and I know a lot of people probably know this, but I'm going to point it out anyway, the detail is so good on this kit, even on the tyres. I don't know if you can see that. Just on the edge there, you got some lettering which actually is Continental, which is the German word for continental tyres. Now, Evan has actually pointed out I could scrub that U out and make it an L. To be honest with you, I think even that would hurt my eyes. So thanks for the advice, Evan, but I think I'm going to let that one pass. I'm good, but I'm not that good. And even the weld seam on the actual tyres beautifully reduced. Even the well, even what they call it, the weld detail on it's lovely. It really is. I am really impressed with this Tiger. I mean, I've built 2 previous Dragon Tigers. One was the Side Hobby 9142, and then the other one, which was the mid. But the detail on this one is exquisite. And this is the actual main hull I've done. I've got all the torsion arms in. Sprockets are on. Various detail by here is on. I've got the suspensions arms on beautifully. The rear mud guards are on. The starter crank is there. Obviously you've got the ammunition box up here. There's another one that's going to go there. Now there's an interesting story behind that, because basically when I went to put it on last night, which is part G26, which you see here, because you've actually got to put some, you've got the actual thing that's actually holding it to the vehicle. These are all etched brass. That's going to be interesting. Oh well, it's all a learning curve. But again, when I went to actually go and get the actual ammunition box on G26, now where did I put the spring? Here it is. Lo and behold, G26 was not there. So I looked in the box thinking I've lost it. Nothing. And I thought, oh, we've got a slight hold up now. And then a little light bulb came into my head, because I realised within my stash I've actually got another initial Tiger, which is this one. Which is the Tunisian initial, which I know is going to be Steve Mottram's entry into the Tiger 1 group build, and it's kit number 6608. Now, I took the instruction sheet out of that one, and as you well know, and I know a lot of people curse Dragon for leaving them too many spares, it had the part on the R-sprue that I was looking for, was the ammunition box, which is right here in blue. So that was a redundant part, so I thought, thank you, Dragon, you've just saved my bacon. So that is now done. Admittedly, there was a bit at the bottom, so I've put some sprue in just to fill it up, and then obviously put the etched brass parts on it and attach it to the back plate. So that will be done. And unfortunately, I haven't got around to actually assembling the jack yet, so yeah, I'll be doing that to finish this off. Now the exhaust stacks are exquisite as well. 2-part system that you build them into, and obviously you've got these parts here, and you've even got the covers for the actual top of the exhaust stacks as well, because if you notice, I don't know if you can see that in the light, I've got one here open and the other one closed, because they used to have them there, because they used to, when they actually let out the exhaust, it would open up like so. So there you go. And I had to use my geek goggles to put that on, I can tell you. My eyesight's not even that good, but there you go. But overall, so far so good, and it's going together like a dream. Now I say that I've always you do come across some snags, but again, I prepared myself this time, because on the instruction sheet I went through everything. What I didn't want, I crossed through. I've been taking a tip from Mike Cohen when he was actually telling you how to interpret Dragon instructions. Again, I've done it here with the turret, etc., all through various processes of the build. So that's my build on the Tiger 1. Now the Hunter, which I'm planning to build, I haven't got started on yet. So that I may well start on Tuesday, because I've got a birthday to sort out tomorrow, a close friend's birthday. So yeah. Now in terms of what I've managed to get in over the last couple of months, not so many kits, I have to admit. I've cut back a bit, to be honest with you, and I've sold a lot of my stash off, mainly due to space and money issues. So I had to make some hard choices, and I had to let go a few of my Tigers, unfortunately. But I thought, well, I'll keep the best, because I've got 1 or 2 rarities here. I'm just trying to put one back at the moment. Oh, I'll sort that out after I've done this video. Anyway, starting off, I've got another bomber in from the Second World War in 72nd to go alongside me Whitworth Whitley and me Wellington Mark II, and this is Revell's reissued original batch box Handley Page Halifax B Mark 1 2 GR2. I've had a quick look at the detail on it. Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, the internal detail on it is just amazing. I am mightily impressed with this so far. Now, I am also thinking of getting the B3 as well with the Hercules engines, because I might well do a series of builds on Second World War bombers possibly next year. Because I'm going to try and cut back. To be honest with you, I will tell you now, I'm trying to cut back on group builds next year, to concentrate more on my own builds, because I am I've sort of inundated myself a bit. Now there is one more I'm going to go for, but I won't be starting that until the new year, which is Shane Smythe's Sherman group build. I'm going to be putting an entry into that, but that will all be announced in the fullness of time. Other than that, or the World War I group build, I'm not entering any more group builds next year. I say that now, but I've got to take my time, because obviously my work schedule is going to change mightily, which means I ain't going to get as much precious time on the workbench. So I'm cutting back on group builds next year. Okay, just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, as I say, this is an exquisite kit, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now the only thing they say that's wrong with this is the air grills are a little bit out of scale, and the propellers. So what I'm going to go and see is if I can source the correction set for this. So there you go. Another one I've got in, and I know I actually got the Side Rider set, which I've had before, is Meng's FT17. Again, lovely little kit, beautiful detail on it. It doesn't have a full interior, although they have released one with a full interior. I'm not sure if it's 1/16, I don't know. It comes with a little sort of its own little vignette. I might put that in for the entry for the World War One group build next year for Chance of North Wales. I'm not sure, but I haven't quite made my mind up. I have an idea what I might do for this year's if I can fit it in. And that possibly will be ICM's Model T Ford 1917 ambulance. Now I'm thinking of doing possibly a little vignette, but as I say, that's if I can fit it in this year. So this isn't a promise, Len. That's Len Scarvett, who's Chancellor of North Wales. It's a possibility. Now the Brisfit, I'm afraid, has had to go by the wayside. I had to end up selling that one off. And not only that, I haven't really got the bottle of doing a biplane at the moment. I think I'll wait until my skills have improved on aircraft. And to go alongside it, possibly, is ICM's, what the devil have I done with the other one? Oh, here we go. Medical personnel set, and also, possibly to go in the background, the US Infantry 1917 set as well from ICM. Beautiful looking figures on both of them. I don't know what they fit up like, but we'll see. But as I say, this is a possible entry in for the World War One group build, if I can fit it in with amongst the other builds this year. Okay, so that's that. Another one I've got in, and this is a different brand, because I did have one previously, which was Dragons, is the Hobby Boss Panzer 38T. Again, lovely little kit. Has X-Brass detail. The track is link to link on this one. I'm going to do a little bit of research around the vehicle, because I want to do this as Otto Karas's car, vehicle, which he had before he went into the Tigers. So that might be a build for next year, possibly. Another one I've got in is, because I know everybody's been doing T-34s for Joe's T-34 build, but I won't be entering that group build, unfortunately, because I'm already committed. But I saw this and I thought I couldn't resist it. I haven't got a T-34 because I had to sell off the 85, unfortunately. Is this one, ICM's T-34-76 early 1943 production. Lovely little kit, very crisp detail on it. Link-to-link tracks again. Not much detail on the interior, although I think it's got an engine on it. I'm not sure, I might be wrong, but I'm sure that's going to make a super little build. Also, I've got these figures from ICM as well. There's a bit of a theme occurring here, isn't there? Which is Soviet medical personnel as well. I might get the little truck. I don't know. I've been looking at this Zvezdas. I know some people have said bad things about Zvezda, but when you're working on a budget, that's what you can afford. Although I might get the ICM one, but we'll see. And I think that's basically it with regards to kits, really. Now, I have actually got some reading material in. One I actually got from my Bentel, the old Bentel store, which closed down just over a week ago, and they were basically selling this at a bargain basement price, and I couldn't resist it. And it's issued by the Imperial War Museum. It is the history of First World War in 100 objects. Yeah, that's all I paid for it. So I thought, I ain't letting that one go. So it's written by one of the consultants at the museum. You've got photographs of all the artifacts. I mean, you've got Archduke Ferdinand's bloodstained tunic when he was assassinated. Other various items. You've got a drum here from 1914, 30th Division. A gun from HMS Lance, which actually fired the first shot in anger by naval forces during the First World War. German jackboots from the Schlieffen Plan. You name it, it's all in here. 1908 web equipment from the BEF when they joined in 1914. London bus. various things, and it's all the history behind the objects that you see there, every single 100 of them. You know, it's gonna be fascinating to read, because obviously I've got a family connection with the First World War, because both my grandfathers were involved in it. So yeah, and you know me, and even, yeah, you got Harold Cope's jacket when he got injured, and he's still got the bloodstains on it, unfortunately. Even a puppet, you name it, it's all in here. So and I've got that for the princely sum of £5.99, so what a bargain, right? And then I've got some other books. This is one that was kindly given to me by my brother Neil. It's the Weathering magazine. It's basically based on all the desert campaigns. You start off with Panzer IV, DAC version, how to weather it, etc. And this is impressive. What's freedom? You got the rusted old hulk of an old World War One submarine. And it's out in the desert, Tunisian desert, with these two ghostly figures. So yeah, and it's made by Jean-Bernard André. It goes through all the step-by-step processes of the build, going to the final article at the bottom there. And then another one, you've got the BMP one, where you get the weathering effects on that. And this is impressive. This is a bust by Juana Vergara, Spanish modeller of a DAC infantryman who was in the Afrika Korps. That is impressive. I'd love to do a bust, I must admit. In fact, I've got Monty's I've actually got at Telford. And then you've got a Gundam. I must admit, I know you guys are into Gundams, but I don't know, it just doesn't float my boat, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. I must admit, it's impressive the way he's weathered it all up. And this is from Oishi. And there's another one, the Road Warrior. This is a sort of an Armageddon scene. And then you've got finally a little 1/72nd vignette, and that's done by Gavin Slardy Clark. So there you go, that's all the processes through that. And then the last one is Mirror Model CMP with a Breeder AA gun during the Desert Campaign by Mark Chisholm. And that is impressive, absolutely impressive. I would love to get to that standard, I really would. And that's the reason I buy these magazines, because it just inspires you and you learn so much from it. I know you learn a lot on the web, but there you go. But I've got these two from Nicky at Veteranos Kits over the last couple of months, both at £9. This is to do with various urban campaigns. The Kraz, which is out in Afghanistan. Again, there's various techniques, and then you've got is it a Shifa, which is TACOMs. I think this is out in the Syrian campaign or the rebellion. And then you've got another one that's in Syria, which is the M109. I think it's the Tamiya kit, and he's built the base there. Look at that, the way he's put all the rubble there. Fantastic. That really is impressive. And this is another one. You've got the Farmer's Fighter, the old tractor, how you do the shed, and this is impressive. The T-55 Enigma during the first Gulf War campaign. I just love the way he's done the shack and everything, and he's even got the water drips coming out the drains. Wow, that is really serious modelling. Then you've got the T-72 in Iraq. This is the BMP one again. This is during the recent Croatian campaign in the dead of winter. And then you got the BMP 03. Yeah, fantastic magazine. That'll come in handy. And then obviously you've got this one of interest, the Tiger one as well. Again, various weathering techniques. You've got the Panther in the rain, as you can see, with the water streaks, etc. Leopard 2. And again, various mud effects. The Puma, I love all the foliage he's got on this one. It's by Lucas Orgzik Muskalek. I think I pronounced that right. Pardon me if I didn't. Again, there's another one here, more various leopards, and subvariants, and venerable, and believe it or not, to me, a Gepard, which is built by Christoph Pulik. Very impressed with that. Goes through all the weathering process, etc. Using AK products, and here's the final article. That looks even better than mine. And then you've got the Fuchs and the Tiger one by Sven Frisch. This is 6253, using fuel tracks and an aftermarket Aber set with a metal barrel. There you go, beautifully done here. Very impressed with that. And then you've got the Bergpanzer. Okay, various techniques on that. And finally the Ag Tiger, which is done by Oscar Alonso Silva. That is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So there you go. And then you've got a Yak Tiger as well as a Panzer IV. And this is just the gallery of all the builds. And you've got Leopard one. Oh, that's interesting. So there you go. And what I've been using for it, what I'll be using for a source on my Tiger 1 group build is this one, because I've actually, believe it or not, you've got the Tiger that I'm building there. So there you go. So that's going to come in handy. And what I'm using for reference is this one. Is the old Tyra 1 actually. Now, what is of interest to me is the fact the kit is moulded without any exhaust shrouds, when in fact, if I can find it, oh, would you believe it, I've lost it now. Nope, where have I? Oh, here we go. Now, believe it or not, according to them in this book, the one I'm modelling did actually have exhaust shrouds, and there is photographic evidence, as you can see here. So there you go. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that really. As I say, I did try and get hold of some extra exhaust shrouds from my brother in case he had any spares, but he didn't. So if there is anybody who's got any exhaust shrouds that they can spare in 1/35, I'll be very interested, so leave your comments below in the comments column. So there you go, that is what we will now call Stu's Back at the Bench for July, August 2017. So all that remains to be said is keep on those great builds out there. I'm mightily impressed with them all. I've been watching them avidly for the last month. In fact, I've been watching them most of the evenings, and forgoing the TV or any DVDs. So I think I might have a little break tonight. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. So until next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.